Hey everybody, we're back with another super special guest. We have pro wrestler Zoey Cannon. Let's get right into it. If you just want to first tell us, where you grew up, a little bit about your background, upbringing, things like that.
So I'm originally from Massachusetts. I grew up closer to Boston and then lived on Cape Cod for a long time. I moved down to Pennsylvania about a year ago, which is where I really started my pro wrestling journey.
Okay, so were there any early experiences that sort of sparked that initial interest in wrestling? Or
Kind of. I grew up watching wrestling. I watched it a lot with my brothers and one of my sisters. And I always really enjoyed it. I like to well, we couldn't really get pay-per-views because we couldn't afford them, but that's okay. But I like to talk about it with my friends. I enjoyed everything about it. When I was living in Massachusetts, I worked a little bit with a couple different wrestling companies. One of them was Beyond Wrestling, and I helped them with ring crew all the time. And I absolutely loved it. Now they have some of like the best wrestlers coming onto their platform. A lot of their wrestlers from like 2019 even went off to AEW. They host every Thursday night at the White Eagle in Worcester, Massachusetts. They have wrestling open, so you get to see a ton of new faces, and I absolutely love it there.
yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Max Caster. I know he's
Mhm.
like from that area and stuff. So yeah, he's.
Yeah.
And then what made you decide to go from like just being a fan to like, okay, I want to train, I want to try this out.
Well, I mean, I always liked it, and you always want to be kind of like the people that you grow up watching, or like your favorite superhero, something like that. So I never did sports. I was in band forever, and then like every so often, my parents would throw me into like soccer or something. So I never really had the athletic ability to really do much, or at least I didn't know if I did. So when I was in my mid 20s, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this because I actually had no idea that wrestling schools existed because there weren't anywhere I grew up, or at least I didn't know about them.
Hmm.
And then I found one and said, "All right, let's try this out."
Yeah. Was so Three Legacies, was that the first place you trained at then, actually, or?
No, there was another school closer on like the South Coast that I tried out for a little while. But from there, because I didn't stay very long, from there is where I discovered Beyond Wrestling, who
Mhm.
now they have a beautiful training school or some classes that happen weekly or however often they do. I never got the opportunity to train with Beyond because they started doing that after I stopped going there all the time. Um, but they were my biggest outlet, I would say, as far as pro wrestling for the indie scene.
Okay. So then once you moved to PA, were you like, I want to find a place to train at since you had this new interest, or how was that process?
Well, I had moved down here and I didn't know anything about anything, and I needed something to do. So I think I went on Facebook and I looked up like pro wrestling in Pennsylvania, not knowing anything because I'm from New England. I'm a New England girl in and out. Like I I don't know anything outside of it.
Sure.
So I found a couple different places, especially during COVID. A lot of places had shut down. I guess in Pennsylvania, like you couldn't even have trainings, you couldn't have shows, you couldn't do anything. So a lot of places didn't get to recover from that, or at least they weren't recovered yet. So I'm looking at a couple different places, and finally I saw a poster for Three Legacies Wrestling, and they're having their inaugural event. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. I want to go to that. So I messaged them, asked them if they even had a school. I didn't know anything.
Hmm.
And the head trainer is Ricardo Rodriguez, and he's from WWE. And he said, "Yep, we have a school. We just started up. Please feel free to come by and check it out." So I did, and the next day I went, and it's been almost a year.
Wow. Yeah. So you walk in on that first day. What's that like?
Well, when I walked in, it had been a while since I had been in the ring. I walk in and I see the ring, I see Ricardo, I see some of the students, and it was a very small class, which was great. They were just starting out, so everything was fresh. And I remember looking at the ring, going, "I've been in there. I have an idea of what I can do." And he said, "Let's see what you can do." And I went to go do a front roll, and I could not do it.
Oh.
It was humbling.
Okay. And then so is he's a head trainer there also? Are there other
Yep.
people that train you, or what does that process look like?
Well, he's one of the owners for Three Legacies, and he's the head trainer. On Thursdays, we have Bro Keller, who is also the Three Legacies Wrestling heavyweight champion right now. He comes by and he teaches us a couple things on Thursdays, which is awesome. Delirious from Ring of Honor, he has showed up a couple different times, and he's taught us a lot. Every so often, if we have someone that's coming down for one of our shows, like we had Paul London at the beginning of the year, so we had a seminar with him. But Ricardo Rodriguez is the #1 trainer.
Okay. So just Three Legacies as a whole, like what does that promotion mean to you? And kind of what makes them unique and things like that.
Three Legacies Wrestling is based off of the 3 points of honor, tradition, and respect. And that is something that not only Ricardo, his real name is Jesus, not only that Jesus holds near and dear to his heart, but a lot of the other guys that have stakes in the company, it's something that they all kind of formulated together as part of basically a recovery system. So they made something amazing, and then we started out with 1, 2, then 4, then 5, then 8, then 9 students, and it's just blossomed, and it was excellent. We've been having shows just about once a month, and this past August 19th, we had our biggest show yet. It was the Red Rose Rumble at the Barnstormer Stadium in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, that held just about 2,500 people.
Yeah. Wow. No, yeah, I was there. That was my first Three Legacies event as a fan. That was so impressive. I've been to Barnstormers game before, but never anything there outside of baseball. But no, that event was huge. That was very exciting.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. How would you say like your mindset has changed or your overall approach to wrestling since like from now or since your very first day of training till now?
My very first day of training in general was back in either 2018 or 2019, something like that. And that was back in Massachusetts. And I went in thinking that I was going to be like the greatest and I'm excellent. And I was not. I don't think I was mentally ready for any of it. But my first day with Three Legacies was October 3rd. Yeah, October 3rd of 2022. And I went into it thinking, I've done this before. I've gotten into a ring. I know what I'm doing. And I did not. It has been a pretty big journey of growth, of understanding, of compromise, like even just outside of the ring and learning how to do a roll or take a bump. It's a lot. It's a lot. Wrestling is the whole package.
And then, so your mindset now looking at it, what's that look like?
Yeah, you got to pick and choose your battles.
Mm.
If there's something that I'm not learning, or at least not learning quickly or as quickly as I want to, it takes a lot of dedication, and you sometimes you have to put your pride aside. Like I can't jump. For anyone that wants to, I cannot jump. I'm 5'2". I never had to do anything athletic in my life. Marching band does not require a ton of jumping. So like sports wasn't in my background. And then I'm training alongside people. Like we just got a bunch of new students, like I think maybe about 12 or more,
Wow.
that started on Monday. And some of these students have like crazy athletic abilities. Like they're all tough and they're built and they can run and jump. And I'm like, yeah, I can't do any of this. But like overall, I'm getting better in a multitude of ways. I also lost about like 60 pounds from about a year ago to now just by training.
Wow, congratulations. That's amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, I don't think people realize like how actually athletic, you kind of have to be, or at least take that approach. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this video so far, comment Cannon down below. Let's get back into it.
I train about 3 hours a day, anywhere from like 4 to 6 days a week. And for the last, I don't know, 6, 7 months, it's just constant every single week. Like I might miss a day, but it's constant all the time. And then going from not being athletic and just kind of like sitting around and just watching, you work all those hours and you train and you do all these different things and you're repetition after repetition for 8 minutes in the ring. I could lose 8 minutes sitting in my car, on Twitter or something like that. But this is 8 minutes of your life that you are in the center of the stage, hopefully. and everyone's watching you and you get to do this amazing performance all for 8 minutes,
Yeah.
roughly.
Yeah, no, I could see how that could be frustrating at times, maybe,
Mhm.
but I'm sure it's worth it. Also, now you mentioned Ricardo or Jesus a little bit.
Mhm.
What's your experience been like working with him so far?
Well, so he comes from a WWE background. He has been wrestling for, I think he said something like 16 or 17 years, and that started out in California. Then he went to Florida. He was with WWE. He opened up a school in Egypt. He's been to India. He's been all over Europe. So he's taught many people from many backgrounds. And it all comes down to the core belief that if you love wrestling, you can do it.
Mm.
And he's like, so like I said, we only started out with like 4 or 5 students in the beginning, and now I'm considered one of the advanced students, which I never thought would happen. And we have another group of students that just came in on Monday, and he taught us and we're helping to teach them, and he's teaching them, and it's all over the map.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's awesome. So he wears many hats, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
Part owner, trainer, and he still wrestles himself.
Mhm.
What kind of through line do you think makes him be able to be great at all those things? Like what one quality kind of so he's able to do all that?
Endurance.
Mm,
He can keep rolling with the punches. Between his regular daily job, he also helps out with Major League Wrestling, who I got a chance to hang out with for this past Sunday in Philadelphia. Amazing time. Between that company, this company, working regular jobs, going to shows, promoting his own shows, doing all that other work, it's exhausting.
yeah,
But he also has outlets that help him. Some of the other companies that we work alongside, like the Brightside Opportunity Center, which is where we have our regular monthly shows, they're always opening us with welcome arms, and it's nice because we get to work with them so effortlessly that it just makes everything so much easier.
yeah. So aside from Ricardo, what are some or who are some other kind of inspirations for you along this journey?
Um, I mean, growing up, it was all my WWE people that I love. Like, oh, I love Undertaker, I love Jericho, I love those people that you see on TV. But it becomes a little bit more personal when it's on the independent scene because I mean I see people like Ricardo, and I know he's been to the top, and he's here with us, showing us everything that he's learned. Um, Two of the people that I actually look up to the most are two of my co-trainees. Al Snook, the one of one Al Snook, and then Just Jay. And I started only a couple weeks after Al Snook did, and then Just Jay came into the school in January, and both of them are amazing. And it's nice to see two people that came to me like they're in my life as equals, and I still look up to them
Oh,
because it's just so cool.
mm,
Like I tell myself I want to be like them one day.
yeah, yeah. And you guys seem to be part of the same like class, if you will.
Mhm.
So it's like to be able to lean on each other. Like, how are you feeling? How are you? I'm sure that's great to not be in it alone entirely.
It's awesome. I actually got to wrestle Just Jay at the Barnstormer Stadium, but it wasn't at the Red Rose Rumble. It was at a show prior to that, and it was me versus him. It was one of his first times out in front of an actual audience. He did amazing, and I'm following along with him. I have wrestled Al Snook many times. He was also my tag partner for another match that we had at Brightside, and I'm following him along. And it's really kind of fun to be in the ring with someone who you truly admire. And like I saw Al Snook doing a move to one of our opponents, and I'm like, yeah, you go, Al Snook.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. You guys get to rally around each other and everything like that. So just back to the Red Rose Rumble. Yeah, that fatal four way came out on top. Just what was that moment like for you?
Well, so we're going into it. First of all, we got escorted to the ring on Corvettes,
That was
which
pretty
was
cool.
probably the coolest thing I will ever do in my life.
Yeah.
Um, so we all go out there, the crowd's loving it, we're loving it, and all four of us, well, maybe except for Journey Burke, we all go into it having a grand old time. Everyone's getting whatever they need in that match, and we're moving along, and things are great. And then I see an opportunity where I'm like, all right, maybe now's my time. And I'm one on one with Danny Moe, who is an amazing athlete. And finally, I got her up, and I hear 1, 2, 3, ding, ding. I honestly couldn't believe it. It was a very surreal experience. Like, even though I'm in professional wrestling and I'm here to entertain and to, like interact with the audience. And I'm still like, I want me? Are you sure? I'm looking around like, where's the winner? Did we lose her? And I'm like,
Uh,
oh my God, it's me.
yeah, that was you. Was that like your biggest win, your biggest moment to date?
Yes.
Okay, very nice. So what do you think that meant for you, like professionally going forward? You have, a good W under your belt, and also like just personally.
Professionally, I would consider that probably my best match ever. It was a fatal four way, so there are three other amazing opponents in the ring, and they get to do everything that they need to do, and I get to do what I need to do, and we're all together. And even though it was one against each other, it was still like such great harmony in the ring because I believe that all four of us have really great ring chemistry. So it's, I'm not moving a million miles an hour and then everyone else is kind of sitting there, or
Mm,
vice versa. So professionally, I would say that that is probably my best match to date. I actually still have not seen the full match. I've only seen like the little clips that people put
oh,
up.
wow. Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm nervous to see it just because whenever I watch back, especially my matches, I watch it as a fan. I don't even watch it as myself. I'm like, "Ooh, she
Mm,
did that."
yeah, it's like a
I don't know.
weird
It's
out of
it's how I
body.
am.
Yeah, no, it's probably surreal for you to even see yourself in there sometimes still.
Yes, and that's the personal part of it. I look on the screen and I'm like, "Wow, Zoe Cannon can't jump, but she can do this."
True.
It means a lot to me.
Mm,
Going from not being able to do a front roll properly, and it took me 3 weeks to do one,
mm,
like properly without falling, without stumbling,
sure.
to within a year performing in front of like just about 2,500 people in front of some of my like family and friends and people that have watched me go from being the ticket girl for shows to being one of the fatal four-way women. Like that I didn't think that was ever going to happen, and here I am.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And then just what did that event as a whole mean for Three Legacies?
I think for Three Legacies, it meant really not only putting us on the map, but cementing us on the map because people know who we are. The last few shows have sold out with just over 500 people at Brightside Opportunity Center, and that's just for our regular shows.
Yeah.
Um, but the amount of people that came out, whether it was to see me or Ricardo or Heath Miller or Rhino or anyone else that was there, um, they came and they saw an amazing performance all night long.
Mhm.
And it also really got the word out to people that maybe still didn't know that pro wrestling was a thing in Lancaster again.
Sure.
So it really helped get the word out. Everyone had a great time. Three Legacies is also very family friendly, so we encourage you bring your kids, bring
Mm,
grandma, bring whoever you need to.
yeah.
It's a fun time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just want to take a small little pivot here and do some fun questions. Do you have a
That's
dream
fun.
match?
I have many. Um, one a dream match that I would actually really love to see is myself versus Megan Bain.
Mm,
I
oh,
think she right now she's over in Japan. She's
mm,
an amazing athlete. I had seen her at Beyond Wrestling, and every time I see her, I'm like, she is so cool. She could kill me if she wanted to. Like she's powerful. She moves so swiftly, and even though she's like the bad guy, I'm still always cheering for her just because she's just so good.
yeah.
But me versus Megan Bain, I would love that.
hmm Are there any others that come into mind, like any WWE ones or any that jump off the page for you there?
Hmm. If I were to do anything in WWE, Natalia.
That's a good one.
I feel like she would be an amazing opponent and I could learn so much from her.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then if you could pick any female wrestler as a tag team partner, who would that be? And maybe who would you go against? Like what would that match look like?
Uh I will always go against Journey Burke. She but I would also enjoy tagging with her.
Interesting.
She is someone that I face quite often. Every time we meet, she knows just a little bit more every time, so it keeps me on my toes to learn a little bit more every time.
Yeah.
Um, Danny Moe, especially working against her in that fatal four way, she is extremely talented,
Yeah.
and so if I could have her on my side, I could win.
Yeah, no, she's awesome too. I follow PPW pretty heavily also,
Mhm.
and like I learned about her and Facade from there.
Yep.
No, she's great. So yeah, that those are good choices. And then just what is something like that fans or just really anybody would be maybe surprised to know about you?
I've been playing the clarinet for 20 years.
Wow. Do you ever
Yeah,
like
I'm really not cool.
that's okay. Well, you said you did marching band, right? So that's where that comes from. That's all right.
Yeah.
Any other like hobbies? Like, what are your hobbies just outside of wrestling? If you have any, it's okay. I don't have that many, so I understand.
Let's see. Knitting.
Okay.
I'm basically 80 years old. I like to read and knit and yell at the TV and watch Law and Order.
That's
But
okay.
aside from that, especially in the ring, I'm loud, I'm vibrant, I'm always moving my arms to talk. I think it's just how I was raised, and that's okay. Um, but outside, as much as I do like to ramble, I love to listen. I love to watch people watching is my favorite sport.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, just kind of hanging out.
yeah,
Let's see. A fun. I don't know if it's a fun fact. I don't know how to TikTok. I have never made a TikTok.
same.
I only got one because a specific TikToker called the Masked Hope, who has been to our school before, and he's a really great friend of mine. He has it, and I love his videos, so I made it so I could follow him.
Yeah, I'm not on that either. It's
I
like,
don't know how to use it, and people send
yeah.
me videos and messages, and I'm like, I don't know how to open that.
No, I don't blame you. I don't keep up with all the new ones. I have like Instagram, Twitter, that's about it. So
Even Twitter, I don't know what to do.
I think
I'm
you're doing,
learning, but I
yeah,
don't know what to do.
I think you're doing fine so far. And then have there been, so what are your future goals and plans as a wrestler? Have there been, I know Three Legacies doesn't have a women's champion yet. Have there been any rumblings
Not yet.
at, or what's that look like?
I I don't know exactly what Ricardo's plan is as far as more championships. I would love to have a women's belt. There are so many talented women in this area between here, New Jersey, New York, even all the way up to Massachusetts, down to Florida. I know there's a bunch of women down there and we all have the ability to become a champion somewhere, which is something that I really enjoy. If we make a women's championship, Ricardo, if you're watching, I better be on that list of people who could potentially win. Um, I would love to wrestle like specifically for Beyond Wrestling. I haven't gotten the opportunity yet as Zoey Cannon to wrestle for them. I've done their ring crew. I have sold merch. I've done tickets. I've done it all, but I haven't gotten in the ring yet.
Mm,
Um, I mean, just any company that would be interested in having me scream in the middle of the ring.
yeah, so you're just ready to expand and get out, wherever possible.
Home is always going to be 3LW,
Sure.
but I would love vacations.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. And then just, what should fans look out for from you personally? And then, Three Legacies as a promotion in like the next few months and then even the next few years down the line.
Well, as far as me personally, I haven't said anything about it yet, but I have some t-shirts. They're
Oh,
coming. I
is it
don't know
your
exactly
website,
when.
Instagram? You can plug it right now if you want to.
I don't have the picture of the shirts yet, and I haven't received them yet, so I don't want to post up any like pre-orders as
Yeah,
of yet, just because, especially if I don't get that many in, that would be such a great problem to have.
right.
But but I don't have any of the actual specifics yet.
Okay.
Um,
I was
Three
very
Legacies
early on.
Wrestling is Three Legacies is doing their next show Friday, September 15th at the Brightside Opportunity Center in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Then we have a show next month. So it's September, October, November, December. We already have it all booked. Something to look out for Three Legacies is not only is JS Hawthorne the Red Rose Rumble winner, but he does have a whole year to fight for that championship currently held by Bro Keller. So you never know where he's going to appear next.
Mm,
But aside from that, Brightside is getting packed every single show. So get your tickets while you can. We do still have tickets at the door usually, but if we're selling out this much, maybe we need to find bigger venues.
Mm,
Maybe we need to expand our horizons. You never know. But
true.
definitely keep coming to the shows. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then just my final question is like, what would you like your kind of overall contribution to like Three Legacies or wrestling in general? What would you like that to be?
Well, for Three Legacies, it started out with me being the only woman there.
Mm,
And then it kind of expanded to a couple more, a couple more. We have one female trainee who I got to meet on Monday. She's an absolute delight. I love her to bits. Even just as a person, if that was her character, everyone would love her too, which I'm sure they do. There's myself, there's a couple other women. So for Three Legacies, I would love to be able to start to pave the way for women's wrestling to really start to pick up because it's a great school, it's a great place to be. As far as in pro wrestling in general, I just want to make someone happy. I want someone to, I'm a goofball in nature, so I want someone to see me in the ring. If they think I'm athletic, good, I fooled them. But I want them to be able to have a great time for however many minutes I'm in there. Just be entertained.
yeah. Yeah. No, I think you got a pretty good ovation winning that match. So I think you're, well on your way. You seem like a fan favorite already. Um,
I try. I try. I have a few really, really good fans that, reach out to me every so often. And even if I don't have a million followers online or the subscribers to whatever, I have a few good people when they approach me in person and they give me a hug and they say, "Great job."
Mhm.
That's all I want.
Yeah, makes it all worth it.
Mhm.
Yeah, beautiful. No, that's all I have for you today. I can't wait to watch your journey, see where it goes and everything like that. I think you have a lot in store for you.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah. Right. There you have it, folks. That was pro wrestler Zoey Cannon. I hope you enjoyed it.